Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Monday evening, September 16, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons on the path of these tropical systems, that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your coworkers, your relatives, and even your church brethren. And subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below, letting me know what the has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any other related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the Atlantic hurricane tropical storm activity based on data from 1944 to 2020. And we can see by this graphic, if we zoom out, in terms of the storms per day, per 100 years, we can definitely see that we're in the peak of hurricane season right now. We're somewhere right here after passing the peak. We know the peak is September 10, and considering that it is September 16 right now, it's definitely somewhere right here in the middle part of September, starting to fall off as we speak in terms of the tropical storm activity and the hurricane activity in the reds and yellows. As it should, we want to wrap up this season with nothing else. We don't want another burial at all, with all of the bad weather and power outages or internet disconnections, you name it. Let's hurry up and wrap the season up, but we'll definitely take some rainfall to cool down these temperatures. If we also take a look at this updated map that just was recently updated by the website that's here, DaculaWeather.com, it was actually showing information from, if not 1851 to 2009, now they finally updated it to show information from 1851 to 2023. And it's showing all of these yellow dots that we know represent where tropical systems, whether it's tropical storms or subtropical storms, have formed. And we can definitely see a lot of these yellow dots across the main development region between Africa and the Caribbean, some across the Caribbean, some across the southwestern Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico, not to mention a lot of them across the eastern to the central Pacific right there. And all of these black lines are representing where these systems have tracked. By the way, keep in mind that this is valid for the time period from September 11 to September 20. Considering that it's September 16 right now, it's definitely showing where we've had systems forming within the last 10 days. If we also take a look at typical tracks and origins for September, definitely painting a picture just like what we just saw a while ago. Systems moving straight across the Atlantic from the main development region into the Caribbean and then possibly into the Gulf of Mexico, if not crashing into Mexico, possibly moving northward into the southern United States or curving out to sea before reaching the United States in general. And we know the driver of these systems, definitely the very warm ocean waters. This map right here is showing the sea surface temperature anomalies. It's basically showing how warm the waters are at the skin of the ocean. And the warm water is depicted by the yellows, the oranges, the reds. And we see that there's a lot of it across the Atlantic. You can see Jamaica right here, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic, Cuba right there. And these systems have a lot to work with. The problem is that most of these tropical waves have been coming off too far north over Africa, near the Saharan desert, which explains why we haven't had a lot of these systems pushing from east to west across the Caribbean into the, well, across the main development region into the Caribbean. We're indeed grateful for that. No complaints here. We don't want them to be coming in from a lower latitude and then moving westward into the Caribbean like Beryl did at all. We'll definitely take that more than anything else. We can also see the waters of the eastern to the central Pacific cooling off to make way for the La Nina. Below La Nina definitely brings forth bad weather across the Caribbean. Little to no wind shear. We know El Nino, which is the opposite of La Nina, causes more thunderstorms to be forming across the central to the eastern Pacific, and thus causes a lot of wind shear across the Caribbean, tearing the tops of these thunderstorms off in general. But with the lack of El Nino and a La Nina trying to take shape, these thunderstorms should be thriving if they actually get the chance to in our neck of the woods. And we need to recognize that it's not only the sea surface temperatures that we're watching, but the tropical cyclone heat potential. And this map is showing that how warm the waters are the deeper into the ocean we go. And we see the waters are extremely warm, where we have the reds in and around Hispaniola, Cuba, the Cayman Islands, Jamaica right here. So even if we get a system to churn up these waters, they're definitely gonna be, churning up even more warm water, especially if they're sitting over the very same spot. And we can see this image is as of today, September 16th. It was just updated, and this image is as of September 15th. So this image came out yesterday. So we can see that the El Nino has definitely gone. Neutral conditions took over. It's only a matter of time. If the NOAA hasn't declared La Nina yet, it's only a matter of time before it is declared. On another note, let us take a look at this post from Andy Hazelton. He's actually an associate scientist at the NOAA, so he actually works for the NOAA, that's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, that has to do with the National Hurricane Center. And he recently made a post. He made this today at 12:03 p.m. He stated, a few models and ensembles are picking up on a low pressure system forming in the Northwest Caribbean by late this weekend. Still a long ways out, but it would make some sense as the leading edge of the MJO or convectively coupled Kelvin wave. All of this has to do with rising air, causing more thunderstorms, becoming tropical depressions, becoming tropical storms, becoming hurricanes in general. Forcing starts to move in. Development will partially be tied to how a trough of the east coast evolves and whether it immediately yanks the moisture north or cuts off and allows a system to form in the Northwest Caribbean. Just something to watch for now. And he highlighted what some of these models are showing. Firstly, let us reload these images. Let's zoom in a bit and see exactly what these images are showing that he highlighted. Alright. Alright, so first of all, let us look at what he's referring to regarding the MGN and convectively coupled Kelvin wave. So this is as of right now, September 16 to September 17. We can see that the Eastern Pacific right here and the Atlantic right here, we're definitely getting on those browns that represent sinking air as of now. But the rising air in the green is across portions of Africa, the Western Pacific, and the Central Pacific right there. And it's definitely moving because if we look closely, this is valid for September 18 to September 19. It's definitely pushing eastward, coming closer to the Eastern Pacific. September 20 to September 21, we start to see it coming into play across the Eastern Pacific and the Western Caribbean. Then look at this, by September 22 to September 23, the rising air represented by the greens should be across especially the Western Caribbean and into the Caribbean. So there's going to be a lot of rising air from the MGO and the convectively coupled Kelvin wave to bring forth a lot more moisture and the possible window of opportunity for something to form. So it's only a matter of time before the Hurricane Center highlights something. And this is the something that we are referring to that they could be highlighting. This map right here is showing the GEFS mean ensemble. Basically, the GFS, and we are seeing all of these numbers representing where some kind of air of low pressure could form. Mind you, this is Jamaica right here, and something could definitely form across the Western Caribbean to the west of Jamaica for sure. Keep in mind that this is valid for 18Z on Sunday. So this is valid for 1 p.m. on Sunday, September 22. Something could form this coming weekend. It is just a waiting game at this point. This is quite something. It's ridiculous. September 22 is just around the corner, the weekend for sure. And let us match it up to what the other model is showing. This is the EPS, this is the European model, and this is valid for the same time period. And look at majority of these members with the darker colors, even across Jamaica and Cuba. We definitely have to watch to see exactly what unfolds. And even on the model forecast from the GFS, we're actually seeing the trough that he made mention of right there to the north of Jamaica, possibly, sucking up whatever develops here near Jamaica. We see the L that represents an airflow pressure on both models. It's definitely going to be an interesting watch to see what unfolds. Either way, regardless of development, there could be some amount of rainfall coming our way. And we know the next name on our list is Helene, followed by Isaac, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. As of right now, nothing here on the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. We can see that potential tropical cyclone number 8 is still right there across the southeastern United States, bringing some shower and thunderstorm activity. Lots of flash flooding definitely took place across portions of South Carolina as well as North Carolina today. It's sparking maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour, and it is moving towards the north-northwest at 7 miles per hour. As of right now, it's definitely not going to be developing to Helene at all. Yesterday, we thought it might have had the chance to develop to Helene, but the chances are slim now, especially considering that the system is now over land. And we can also see Tropical Depression Gordon right there, still expected to move westward and then push towards the north and then re-strengthen. Definitely going to be a fish storm for sure right there. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see the frontal system and the numerous areas of low pressure attached to that right there across the southwestern Atlantic into the Gulf of Mexico, Florida, stretching all the way up into the northern portion of North Atlantic. We can see the airflow pressure associated with Gordon and that trough that it has induced right there to the east of the Windward Islands. And we can also see a tropical wave right here to the east of Jamaica, affecting portions of Cuba and Haiti, maybe even portion of northern Colombia. And we can also see that tropical wave that was affecting portions of the Cabo Verde Islands yesterday is right now off to the west of there. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can actually make out these entities. The frontal system with the areas of low pressure, numerous areas of low pressure attached to that system, reaching all the way into portions of the southeastern United States right there. We can see Tropical Depression Gordon still spinning away right there, possibly getting some thunderstorms right back on top of the center of circulation right there. We can see a huge plume of moisture stretching into portions of the eastern Caribbean right there. And we can also see the clouds associated with the tropical wave to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands. Not really making out the clouds associated with the tropical wave that's affecting Hispaniola. Maybe that burst of convection that we see across Haiti right there at the last frame could be evidence of the thunderstorms associated with the tropical wave. But as of right now, we see that low level flow pushing from east to west across the Caribbean, the usual thunderstorms across western Jamaica as well as portions of Cuba today. So nothing out of the ordinary at all. If we take a look at what was predicted in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Monday, September 16, it was stated that parts of eastern Jamaica would have received some morning rainfall, then spilling into sections of some northern and western parishes during Monday afternoon. And just for reference, we know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney. as well as northern Jamaica. You know, we're talking about those parishes on top like Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, and Hanover. And what ended up happening? As early as 4:30 a.m., the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted, and they highlighted the green and yellow colors that we know represents an amount of moderate to heavy rainfall, as we can see right there. And it was definitely affecting portions of eastern Jamaica this morning, St. Thomas and Portland. Just some sections of St. Thomas and Portland, nothing drastic. But we saw the heaviest of the rainfall right there to the west end of Haiti, right there offshore between Portland, Cuba, and Haiti right there. So it was definitely out to sea for sure. And if we take a look at what was posted during the afternoon, the infrared satellite images actually highlighted the fact that we definitely got in on the thunderstorm that was predicted. This was as of 4:25 p.m. and we definitely saw the thunderstorms that took place, especially across northern Jamaica, areas like Portland, sections of St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, and Westmoreland, even sections of northwestern St. Elizabeth, just as predicted. And you might be wondering where the sparkling white dots that indicate lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. They are there. We're actually getting in on the thunderstorms, but apparently this infrared satellite image was glitching out, not showing the thunderstorms on it, but the map does indeed paint a picture of where we are having the cumulonimbus clouds as of that time. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can definitely see that flow that we had across the island today. More so an east southeasterly kind of flow. Then we had the thunderstorms building across sections of some northern and western parishes for sure during the afternoon. And if we take a look at the very latest from the weather nerd side, this was showing the actual thunderstorms before it started to glitch out, especially across northern Jamaica. But we can see the majority of the thunderstorms are now out to sea right there to the northwest of the island. And if we take a look at Flatbridge's live cam right there at around 3:02 p.m. By the way, keep in mind that if you'd like to see live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica's YouTube channel. They show the Bogwalk Gorge right here. They show the Kingston Harbor. They show the panoramic view, halfway tree, crossroads, you name it. And they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe from today. So you can definitely see that it was dry times today across the flat bridge. Not much in the way of afternoon rainfall that we've been experiencing all of last week. Definitely getting in on a break. Definitely getting in on a pattern shift for sure. And if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint a picture of where we had the rainfall today across sections of eastern Jamaica, northern and western Jamaica as well. As we can see, all of these colors that represent the rainfall totals, as you can see by the key on the bottom in millimeters. And if we take a look at the very latest infrared satellite image that just came out as of 45 minutes past the hour. So, considering that the time is now 6:59 p.m. Jamaica time, this is the latest image that just came out at 6:45 p.m. and we can definitely see that section of western Jamaica still getting in on some thunderstorms as we speak. Areas like Westmoreland, sections of Hanover, St. James, maybe even Trelawney getting in on some of the action. And we see the strongest thunderstorms right there off to the west of Hanover with the darkest, deepest, darkest colors. We can see the blacks, the grays within all of that. And we can definitely see all of this being represented by what's being shown right here on the latest Cuban Doppler radar images. This is the latest image that just came out at 7:40 p.m. Jamaica time, which is actually 7:40 p.m. Cuban time, which is Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 6:40 p.m. Jamaica time. And we can definitely make out that heavy rainfall, which matches with what we're seeing on the infrared satellite images. The greens, the yellows, the oranges, reds represent some moderate to heavy rainfall, even some severe rainfall in there, off towards the west of Hanover. Some rainfall right there off to the north of St. James as well. We can also make out some isolated showers in the green, right there to the south of Manchester, Clarendon, and even to the southeast of St. Thomas. So who knows, we might still getting on some more isolated showers tonight too. And if we take a look here at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban military radar, we can definitely make out some rainfall affecting portions of southeastern Cuba, some isolated showers across portions of Portland right there. And even if we take a look at the Cayman radar, we can make out some of that rainfall that affected western Jamaica, most of the heaviest weather right there off to the northwest of the island, and some of this rainfall right there off to the north and west of the Cayman Islands as well. And if we take a look at the very latest panoramic city view from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, we can see that we're seeing all this, the lights of the city, New Kingston in general, halfway tree. Right there we can see the transport center. I think I can make out the Pegasus Hotel right there if I'm not mistaken. So it's definitely gonna be a fair night for the most part across the corporate area. And if we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see 28 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. And by about 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. on Tuesday, temperature should dip down to about 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look here at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Tuesday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Tuesday. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some orange colors. So today was definitely hot. We're still going to be getting on the hot temperatures again. We can see the up to 3 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures being forecasted for sure. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of September across Jamaica are close to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. When calculated, 90 degrees Fahrenheit is almost the same as 32.2 degrees Celsius. So given the 3 degrees Celsius rise in temperature for tomorrow, it should be anywhere from 32 to 35 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Tuesday. If we take a look here at the tips to beat the heat, we know the drill. Stay indoors, make use of fans and AC, dress down, don't wear all of those long sleeve, all of those clothes that make you out there sweating. Wear a hat, eat more fresh fruits, apples, grapes, watermelon, and please ensure that you stay hydrated. Drink water than anything else. Don't bother with the alcohol or the caffeine at all. If we take a look here at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Tuesday, we can see Jamaica right here, definitely in the clear for the most part. Some slight Saharan dust right there to the south of Hispaniola, to the northeast of the Turks and Caicos. Some slight Saharan dust right there across the northeastern portions of the eastern Caribbean. And we can see the heaviest plume of dust right there across the eastern portion of the main development region. We're definitely in the clear. It's not the season for Saharan dust at all. Majority of this is pushing from east to west, but it is dwindling. It is the season for all of this to be dwindling. And we're indeed grateful for that. We cannot stand the Saharan dust. We cannot stand the hazy skies, not to mention it triggering some amount of respiratory illnesses, asthma, sinusitis in some persons. So we're indeed grateful for the forecast for 2 p.m. on Tuesday being so slim in the forecast for Saharan dust. If we take a look here at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see the lighter shades of blues across the Western Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico that we can see by the key on the bottom right. That represents anywhere from 0 to 0.5 meter wave height. While the Caribbean, anywhere from the central to the eastern Caribbean, should be getting on those darker shades of blues that represent anywhere from 1 to 1.5, maybe even close to 2 meter wave height, especially to the south of Jamaica where we see those slight purple colors. And that's because the winds are going to be averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 knots, especially across the Gulf of Mexico and Western Caribbean, gusting from 10 to 20 knots across the waters to the south of Jamaica and Hispaniola, even gusting to 25 knots where we see these yellow shades, and we see the general flow of these winds coming in from the east. But as relates to the close-up of Jamaica, we can definitely see that there's consensus for more of an easterly flow across the island tomorrow. North coast coming in from the east and the south coast coming in from the east. And we see the least amount of winds across inland areas of some central and western parishes. So that's where all of the air is going to be piling up. That's where all of the low level clouds are going to be coming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds throughout the afternoon. And there is still a lack of wind shear across the Caribbean, so it's nothing like, oh, southwesterly wind shear bringing the high cool cloud tops off towards the north, or northeasterly wind shear bringing the high cool cloud tops off towards the south, bringing more and with overcast skies or light showers to those areas. Wind shear is non-existent across the Jamaica area these days, and we're indeed grateful for that. We can even see it on the latest infrared satellite images, how these cloud tops just fan out in all directions, not to a specific direction, to show that there's a lack of wind shear. And if there's a tropical system to take advantage of the lack of wind shear, trust me, it will have quite an easy time to, develop if it's over the sea. And we're indeed grateful that there's nothing out there to take advantage of that right now. But if we actually take a look at the rainfall forecast maps, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 8 a.m. Jamaica time. And we see that both of them are in consensus for some slight rainfall. The Euro showing some dots of blues across maybe Eastern St. Thomas and Portland. GFS showing something similar right there. So look out for that morning rainfall across the east. Then during the afternoon, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time. We definitely see the blues across second central and western Jamaica that represent rainfall. So look out for that afternoon rainfall. If you are out west, see it's more so across western Jamaica and even inland areas of some central parishes. So not necessarily northern Jamaica at all. Pattern has definitely made a shift for Tuesday's forecast. And even the accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in consensus. There's gonna be rainfall somewhere in Jamaica tomorrow. Both the Euro and the GFS models showing rainfall for the east as well as portions of central and western Jamaica. Euro showing up to at least 0.3 of an inch of rainfall, or 3.35 of an inch of rainfall across the west. Euro showing something a bit less across the island. Either way, we'll take it. We're in the month of September. Kingston's bar graph is being shown right here at the top, showing that we usually receive close to 100 millimeters of rainfall for the month. That's almost 4 inches of rainfall. Montego Bay's bar graph is right here at the bottom, showing that we usually receive close to 7 inches of rainfall for the month of September. That's almost 175 millimeters of rainfall. And keep in mind that you can visit weatherandclimate.com to find out about the annual rainfall that your specific parish receives throughout the year. And you can do the calculations regarding the rain gauge yourself, considering that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have a moisture surge pushing into portions of the Windward Islands right there from east to west. You can see the usual afternoon thunderstorms across portions of Jamaica, Cuba, section of Haiti right there. The usual afternoon thunderstorms across portions of Central America as well as Northern South America. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean for today, we can make out what took place and what's taking place right now. So as relates to what took place, we can definitely see that not much took place. Most of the rainfall was right here across the northern portions of the Windward Islands right there. Not much across the Leeward Islands. As of right now, we see some of these rain bands coming into portions of Antigua and Barbuda right there to the north of Guadeloupe. Some of this rainfall affecting Martinique, St. Lucia as we speak. And we can see it all even better on the Barbados radar. Definitely lashing portions of Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Some isolated shores right there. Section of Trinidad getting in some of the rainfall, and so too maybe Tobago as well. And we can also see some rain bands coming in from the east, maybe to affect section of Barbados later on tonight. And if we take a look at what we have Doppler radar images, we can see some of that rainfall across section of southern Florida, sections of Cuba, the Yucatan Peninsula, Guatemala, Honduras. We can also see some of that rainfall across sections of Colombia, northeastern Venezuela right there on the Trinidad radar, and even coastal areas of French Guyana. And that's relates to where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours. This map from the Euro and this map from GFS are both showing where it's going to be raining within the next 24 hours from now up until 10 p.m. on Tuesday. We can definitely see the most in the way for rainfall. Should be lashing portions of Cuba. The GFS showing some reds, even some purples there. Euro showing some rest, but not the purple. So maybe close to 1 inch or even more than an inch of rainfall. Some flash flooding could take place across Cuba. So too sections of Florida, the Bahamas, section of the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, sections of Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, sections of Trinidad and Tobago getting in and some of that. Well, we see that rainfall for Trinidad and Tobago on the GFS, not much on the Euro at all. We'll see which one of them wins. Either way, we see that there's definitely some more moisture if they're not already receiving it for portions of Martinique, Southward. So St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, and even Barbados could be getting on some more of that rainfall. So to sections of Haiti, Jamaica, right there. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.